Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Thanks for joining us. So as Ajad Bhai has said this, today's topic is all about how we validate our concepts and ideas using the UML diagram. So here is myself, Iftikhar Ahmed Obi, working as a senior software engineer level 2, and my current team is Ticketco Mobile, and my current stack is iOS, and alongside with me.
Raihan. This presentation will be conducted by Ovi, like 99% of the thing. So he did heavy lifting. Yeah, please Ovi, continue. Thanks.
Okay, so let's jump onto the next slide. As we saw that this presentation is all about UML, so the very first slide is all about what is the UML thing. So as we all know that UML is the short form, and the proper abbreviation of UML is standing for Unified Modeling Language. And actually it is something that is not actually bounded by any kind of stack. It is actually used for all kind of stacks to present some kind of values. Also, it is the standardized way to visualize system architecture or components from the bird's eye view level. And as UML actually contains a lot of other stuff like the class diagrams, the sequence diagrams, the use case and activity diagrams, and also lots of other diagrams too. So UML has actually got some kind of precise notation and semantics, because there are some kind of rules to how to present an UML, what to present. So yes, they are kind of predefined set of rules. And what is the uses of UML? So UML is basically used for designing purposes like the system architecture, robust architecture, system components. It can be used as a part of documentation and a tool for communication. So yes, this is very basic things of UML. So yes, it looks like a textbook theory. We all know that theory is a boring stuff. Just hold with me. Let's see if we can make it a bit more interesting. So let's just jump onto the next screen. So yes, there is a very famous person named Leonardo da Vinci. He has got very famous quotes that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Actually, it's very much true, because the ultimate goal of any system is to be as simple as it can be. So this is our ultimate goal. So here UML is some kind of helping tool which will help us to build a robust and also a simple architecture. And also, as UML itself is a tool, we don't try to make it much harder or some kind of overhead for the team. We also feel that it should also be simple, that should be used as a helping tool. So let's see how can we make it a bit more simple. So yes, as we have seen the textbook theory of the UML, what UML actually stands for. So this is the bridging of that theory to our practical implementation. So how do we use UML for us in our regular practical tasks? So yes, at least for us, the Ticketco Mobile team, we do not impose some kind of strict rules showcasing the UML, because the ultimate goal of UML is actually showing the clarity and actually imposing the team understanding across the whole team. It is not some kind of academic correctness tool, so it is just a helping tool. And we always prefer the communication over the perfect notation. Sometimes we deviate a bit from the standard UML rules, but we have seen that it works pretty good across the team. As this team is functional for almost 2 years, we have been practicing this kind of rules or this kind of deviation, and it works for us. So whether when the communication is perfect, we don't prefer anything else. So this is some kind of stuff that works for us in our practical life, at least for Ticketco Mobile team. So yes, the ultimate goal is that we do not try to make this UML thing as an overhead to the team, rather than we just use it as our helping hand. Okay, so here comes an example. This is one of the UML diagrams, basically an activity diagram. So here, this is just for showcasing an example. There will be more diagrams coming up in the later spring. So this is all about just how we presented our ideas and validated our ideas regarding push notification permission, because our product is actually an iOS app, and for an iOS app, it is actually mandatory to receive push notification permission from the user end. So we actually tried to validate all the scenarios here using an UML diagram. So yes, using this UML, we were able to actually define all the possible scenarios, and then later on we jumped into the implementation part. So yes, as we are talking about some kind of iOS stuff and Ticket for mobile, so it will be a bit more helpful if we know a bit more about the Ticket for mobile structure, because this team has been functional for, I think, over 2 years now. So yes, at Ticketco there are more teams. So we are mobile team, and we have been developing an iOS app from the very scratch. And also we consist of 4 members, not 4, some also other members, but the iOS team actually currently consists of 3 members. And uh, as we have been developing this app from the very scratch, it needed some kind of architecture, and there was not some kind of actually designated software architect for our project. So we are the one who was responsible to develop the architecture, and it did not happen in 1 or 2 days. It took time. It evolved with the time, and yes, we can say that currently we are having a robust system architecture. And in this journey, actually, this UML diagram helped us quite a lot to clarify our alignment with our mental models. That means that mental model means that we first generate some kind of ideas, and we just don't throw our ideas into the code base. There is some kind of middle steps, like the validation steps. So we generate ideas, we validate our ideas with this UML tool, and then we go for the implementation. So yes, this is the structure of our Ticket for mobile. As you can see that there first comes the idea, then comes the validation point, and then the implementation or the coding part. So basically, this presentation is all about how we validate our ideas and then brings it into a product. So basically, we will be talking more about the pre-implementation part rather than the implementation part. So how we have validated our ideas. At least these tools or these approaches work for us. So maybe it can work for other teams also. So let's just jump onto the next slide. Okay, as we are talking about ideas and products, so this is basically our products. So this the product is Fly app, which is available in the iOS App Store, which has just gone live a few weeks ago. So the UML diagrams or the topics I will be sharing the upcoming presentation slides has been used to make this product. So I just thought of to bring you the product. I haven't actually attached the link because I don't think that we people will be able to use this app because there are some kind of predefined rules for this app. So yes. Okay, so as we were talking about some kind of idea stage, that how we generate our ideas. So let's just see how we have done that. So I guess many of us is aware of the bricks because it was from our previous office. We are one of the teams who has been using the whiteboard, the pens, and the papers quite a lot, because the idea phase actually comes from a lot of scratching things. So we just generate our ideas by using these kind of tools. So yes, there are some kind of scratching going on the whiteboards on the paper level or through verbal discussions. So through these kind of mechanisms, we generate we generate our ideas. So what happens when an idea is generated? It might be a wrong one, it might be a good one, or there needs some kind of modification in an idea. So yes, after an idea is generated and a minimal communication has been made, then we jump to the next step, which is actually the validation stage. So yes, as in the previous slide, actually, I forgot to mention that this idea is all about some kind of login thing, because we have thought that login is one of the features that is required in any of our projects. So we are just showcasing the login idea and the validation and the implementation part here as a reference. So yes, so how we validated our idea, as we have seen that the platform is iOS, so iOS needs some kind of special things for the login part, like it has got some kind of biometric authentication like passcode, face ID, and also the touch ID. So yes, we can see that there is some kind of activity-based diagram where we put our ideas into the validation stage. We try to cover all the possible scenarios that can happen inside the app, how the user can start his journey, how the user can make some kind of mistakes, and also how the user can make some kind of exception. So we actually tried to cover all the scenarios and saw that yes, if the idea has been validated using this UML diagram, and also as we are talking about login and face ID, then apart from the login stuff, face ID also should be updated, or is some kind of iOS rules that once the face ID has been set, it can be updated also. So there is another diagram which is validating that if user needs to update the face ID or disable the automatic biometric login stuff, if it is possible or not. So the ultimate goal is to validating all the ideas we generated in the previous step. So once we validate all the ideas, then we jump into the implementation part. So we all know that implementation will be the code, but I am not jumping here about the code thing, but what is the ultimate outcome after that implementation? Implementation can be different from team to team. So yes, it actually based on the team structure. So the outcome, as we are saying, this is login feature. We can see that this is the login screen where a login should have happened using an username and also the password. So these are pretty much required things. Once user give credentials and we just ask for enable face ID thing if he does not need to bother about the quick if the manual login over and over again. So we make our user's life easier by actually enabling face ID for quick login stuff. So once it is set and the face ID has been validated from an iOS device, boom, the actually login has been happened successfully. So yes, as we have said that on the validation state, there was some kind of stuff like if the user has enabled the face ID, he should be able to update the face ID also. So there is another kind of screen on the settings page where a user can update his face ID preference if he or she does not bother about the quick login, or he or she does go with the manual thing. It's possible. So yes, this is one kind of ultimate structure of how we generate our ideas, how we validate our ideas, and then with the implementation, we just bring it to our outcome, which is the live thing. So yes. Okay. Here comes the important part for us at least. So we never treat UML as the source of truth. The source of truth is always the code. So UML is just an helping tool which actually helps us to validate ideas, and also the important phase, it helps quite a lot to transfer the knowledge across the team, and also helps for a global cross-functional communication, because most of the teams have got some kind of other team members across some other parts in the world. As we definitely need to into the benefits of the UML, what we have been taking from using the UML diagrams. So yes, this is definitely one of the major benefits we have been getting from using UML diagrams, which is code review or PR part. And I think this is some kind of actually word which we developers go every day, or sometimes every hour, sometimes every minute probably. So yes, in the code review part, UML has played a role for us, because we know that after idealizing or after constructing a feature ideas, it is some kind of a big thing. We don't actually give the full thing in a single pair, we actually breaks down a long pair into a smaller components. Then we design that yes, smaller components should be given as a pair, and with that smaller parts, the bigger feature or the bigger outcome comes. So yes, how we do this? Because whenever we provide a full bird's eye overview of a feature in a smaller components pair, it helps the reviewer to have a can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can go on.
Okay, so just I have got a weird notification about I am muted. Sorry. So yes, in the peer, if we actually gives the full overview of an UML diagram, then it actually gives the reviewer an idea how this peer is all about, how it is fitting into the actually pure feature components, and how it is gonna approach for the other peers, upcoming peers. So yes, it makes the reviewer's life quite easy, and also there is less back and forth during the review process. Sometimes we need to go manually and ask the author why you did this, why this thing. So a overview picture or the bird's eye overview of a fully featured UML diagram helps for this purpose. And also definitely it reduces a lot of miscommunication and supports cross-team knowledge sharing is another part, because at TicketCo we believe that the person who actually made a feature is not responsible only for maintaining it. There is no bottleneck in the TicketCo mobile. We prepared our team in such a way where anyone can pick any task at any time. So yes, so we actually tried to share every domain knowledge across the whole team, and on this part, UML played a big role. So yes, this is actually what happened for us as a benefit during the code review or PR. Let's showcase some kind of example for this one. So yes, we have seen that there are some kind of file changes happening in the pair. So we can see that 12 files has been changed in this pair. So it was not possible to actually fit all the changes into one screenshot, but still for the idea, I just wanted to give some kind of image so that everyone can understand. So what this pair is all about, this is the question. So yes, let's just jump onto the next thing. This is the actual pair. The pair is actually introducing a new component, which is a router in our search module. So here I actually tried to give a full UML diagram about the whole search feature, though this pair is not about the whole component making. It is just a sub thing of the whole search feature. So yes, you can see that this pair is already made, I think, over a year ago, August 5. So yes, how actually we approached the review part. So if we just jump onto the next slide, this is the actual UML diagram, what I did attach into the last pair. So yes, we can see that there is some kind of purple rectangular area, which is actually the main concern of the pair. But once I did touch the full UML diagram with that pair, it actually helps the reviewer to get the idea how this component is attaching or attached or related with the other components. Yes, sometimes we might make some mistakes. Sometimes the referencing can be an issue. Sometimes the child-parent relationship can be an issue. So yes, obviously, by giving the whole UML diagram, it definitely helped us to fix some kind of ideas. Yes, I did make some mistakes, and with that UML, did really, it was not necessary to dive into the code first, because whenever a reviewer is reviewing a PR and shows this UML, the first thing is to just jump into the UML. If they find some kind of mismanagement or of referencing or some kind of other components, it is pretty much easy before diving into the code level. So yes, it did help us. Not necessarily that we should actually put an UML with every peer. Definitely we need to calculate for what an UML is necessary and for what it is an overhead. So yes, we try to maintain it. So some kind of major refactoring or for new components adding, we always try to provide a fully functional UML diagram with the peer. So yes, it did work for us for. Okay, so yes, as we have said that, yes, sometimes we deviate a bit from the UML diagrams, but the ultimate goal is all about the clear understanding and share knowledge across the whole team. So I know that it might not be the 100% textbook followed UML, but yes, the spirit is the same, and it is what matters for us the most. So yes, still we're in the benefits area. So there are a lot of benefits actually as we are getting from UML. So yes, definitely what I just said on the earlier slide, that the UML diagram actually helps us, the reviewer or any of us, that if a problem exists within a system components or architecture, from the bird's eye view, we can identify it before jumping into the code level. So yes, into the planning phase or the idea generation phase, there is less back and forth if we can have an UML diagram. And also sometimes it did happen like that I have made an UML diagram and present it to the team, and then there was some kind of modification due to some architectural changes, or it was needed to make the system more robust, or some kind of new ideas were coming. So as we said that our architecture did not happen in 1 or 2 days, it took a long time to evolve. So with the sharing across the team, sometimes new ideas or constructive ideas were coming. So yes, on that phase, UML actually helped us a lot in improving our ideas. And definitely we can say that we are being able to actually build a robust architecture, and also it helped us design a loose couple and flexible structure, because if an UML exists, then we can see that from the bird's eye view, that if the components are pretty much tightly coupled, or they are kind of and other things like it is not that kind of flexible, or there can be an extensibility in the future, so we might need to go into the another direction. So yes, it does happen all the time. So using UML, these kind of flex are pretty much possible to have inside the team. Exactly what just I have said, that UML definitely helped us to actually spot some duplication, unnecessary references, messy connections. We all have made some kind of mistakes, but yes, the important thing is that to find out those issues, sometimes we did not actually need to dive into the code. Before jumping into the code, we were able to find those issues and then actually refer to the author or to the team. It was finished. Yes. So definitely it helps to build a more robust system, more importantly, a more simple system. So yes, one of the examples, if I mention that, just bear with me. I know this is not the proper implementation, how a gateway should looks like. Yes, we are not the one who is responsible for to build the gateway, because we have got some kind of other from our Ukraine, which is the code team who is responsible to generate the backend codes or APIs and the infrastructure level. So yes, as our TicketCo mobile team, which is named as TicketCo Fly, once we needed to use the gateway, and there was some kind of discussions going on how the gateway should be working, how the gateway should be designed. So yes, this was the first implementation of the initial gateway. We see that there are a lot of complexity here. There are some kind of XCPA also having some kind of client ID and password, which was not making sense to us, that why both of these things are required. Then there was some kind of refresh token and also kind of storing mechanisms, just adding extra complexity. So instead of verbal communication, we tried to present the complexity using an UML diagram. And yes, we were able to actually successfully present the complexity in our client meeting where the client was present, our another team, ticket checkout was present, and also the core members were present. So after generating the complexity on the initial gateway flow, we all recognized, yes, this should be done in a very simple way. So what is the ultimate outcome from these communications? If we jump into the next slide, just by seeing this slide, we can definitely say that this is pretty much simpler from the previous slide. So yes, the ultimate outcome was like this. Now we don't need any kind of client ID or password. We just actually request for our authentication service or any kind of ticket services using X API key. And gateway is always responsible to validate the client if it is valid or invalid. So yes, once gateway valid our client, then we can be able to actually authenticate for the services. If it is okay, it just sends us an access token. If there are some kind of issues, definitely it throws some kind of error. And also to use any kind of services like this, now we just need the XAPI key and the access token. And after validating the client, we just get response, either error or successful response. So previously, we needed a lot of other stuff too. We needed some kind of tool, some kind of refreshing, some kind of validation, and also client ID password thing. So it was a more complex thing. So I guess in this communication channel, this UML diagram helped us quite a lot to present our simple idea to the other team also. So definitely, as we mentioned, that it is an important tool for communication. We can see a real life example here. Okay, so again, now this is all about the global cross-functional team communication, because it has been happening for us quite for a long time, because at TicketCo, there are a lot of teams and also from the other parts of the world. So we have got our main backend team from Ukraine. We have got our management team from Norway, from UK. And here at Cephalo, we have got TicketCo Mobile, TicketCo Checkout, and maybe some other teams too. So yes, let's just jump onto the next slide. So how actually it helps us to build a clear or better communication channel where the global cross-functional team is concerned. So definitely, before a discussion begins, we can throw an UML diagram, which actually helps to explain a better architecture, because as a developer, everyone can have an bird's eye overview or a minimal idea from an UML diagram before a discussion begins. It helps to actually build a better communication channel, definitely. So yes, if we use only verbal communication or verbal conversation, it is pretty much okay to actually do some kind of miscommunication. Not okay, it happens actually. So because in verbal communication, there is a high chance that you might forget this thing, might forget this one. So yes, if we use UML as a minimal source of truth, then this communication reduces quite a lot, because when we create an UML, we just don't create it, we also validate it. So yes, after validating an UML, all the scenarios might be possibly covered quite a lot. So yes, another thing is that as we are an iOS team, we are not only responsible for building the iOS app, there are some other stuffs too, like we don't get API that much easily. We need to actually bind a contract first. We need to actually showcase why we did this thing, why the backend team needs to expose this kind of attributes. So there is some kind of communication always going on around the cross-functional team. So yes, we do this kind of communication quite a lot. And in this communication, UML definitely helps to reduce a lot of miscommunication. Sometimes we just don't need to go for any meeting. We just throw some kind of UMLs in Slack or Jira tickets, and yes, this is it. And there we receive the outcome that yes, they also understand their stuff, and we are also being able to actually giving a clear-cut message that yes, we are providing this. And also through this process, the trust building process with the client is pretty much possible, and also it is some kind of professionalism and standardization tool, because you know that the idea generation part, if we do have some kind of UML, then we have got something to showcase our client that yes, we are not just sitting around and just discussing with one or two team members. We have some kind of Jira ticket where we can actually showcase our UML diagrams. Also, at Ticket for Mobile, we need to log our hours. We can log our hours that yes, we have been working in this idea phase and in this validation phase. So yes, it is pretty much possible to build a trust with our client in a professional way using this tool, definitely. So yes, as we are talking about that, we need to have a lot of global cross-functional communication. So in very recent times, there were some kind of scenarios in where for an existing event-driven architecture, we needed to build our own push notification backend service. Yes, we are iOS guy, we are iOS team, but at this moment, we actually needed to build some kind of backend service. So yes, we used Swift to build the backend service. Maybe we are the only team in Cephalo, maybe. So yes, there were some kind of questions arrived, which was like this, that why do you need this kind of attributes, what we're asking from our core team, and also what's the scenario behind this. So yes, there is another UML diagram comes up. So this is the UML diagram we actually threw in a Jira ticket before a discussion was made. So what was this UML diagram is all about? We can see that this is our very own push notification backend service. This is the core service which has been maintained by the Ukraine guys, and this is the message queue service like Nets, and one signal service is a third-party service which we were using to receive or to generate actually our push notification. So the idea was pretty simple. On the very first step, the thing is that our iOS app will actually register onto the one signal service with the device token and the user ID. Here, the user ID is basically the ticketing manager IDs, because ticketing manager is our ultimate goal to receive a push notification. So once a ticketing manager has successfully logged into the one signal service to receive a push notification, after that, what happens? If another ticketing manager creates an event, here an event can be a football match, can be a concert, and some kind of other things. So this is not relevant to the event-driven stuff. Yes, definitely. So yes, once a ticketing manager creates an event, our core event service just gets notified that yes, an event has been created. So it actually publishes an event to the Nets messaging queue service. So yes, our very own push notification backend service then listen to the Net service that yes, an event has been created. Now, our service does not know about that event. So we need to fetch the details about the event and who is responsible to receive push notification for that particular event. So we just ask the core that yes, please give us the details about that particular event and also the preferred ticketing manager users IDs. So once it just drives back that particular data to us, we just make the necessary payloads, schedule push notification when it is necessary. So yes, we schedule it, we actually make the payload, then we this payload to our one signal service. The one signal is just one step away to just push the push notification to our very own iOS app. So this was the ultimate goal which we wanted to describe to our Ukraine team. And yes, by throwing this UML diagram, it was such a short meeting that yes, they were able to receive our message that why do we need the ticketing manager user IDs, because sometimes it is a sensitive information. They might not want to expose this. So yes, this was our message that yes, this is the reason why we need the ticketing manager user IDs. So here, this is not finalized yet. The feature is still on progress, but yes, the main thing is that we are now in a alignment in our in our thought process. So yes, we all agreed that yes, this should be our contract and this is pretty much okay. The client is also very well preferred on this thing. So like as we are talking about what benefits we are getting from UML. So now there is some things that what challenges we did face when we didn't go with the UML, because sometimes we were in a rush. Sorry. So we needed to actually build some kind of feature in a very rush time, in a very short time. So sometimes we went to build architecture or build a feature without UML. So yes, definitely we face some kind of problems. Like we have seen that the back and forth is much more during the code reviews, and especially in the planning stage if we don't use the UML diagrams. Because if there a UML diagram exists, it is the minimal source of truth, not the full source of truth. So yes, if we have some kind of visualization thing, then the planning is pretty much good, because the idea and the validation part here is a crucial part, has been happening for us for all the time. So yes, and also if we don't have some kind of UML, then we all know that architecture decisions directly diving into the code level, which is a bit more risky stuff and also not kind of standard practice, because if we need to know about the architecture by diving into the code, then sometimes it takes a long time. A new member can be onboarded or rotation of some team can happening all the time. So yes, in these cases we faced a lot of challenges when not going with the UML thing. And also a duplicated logic or tightly connected components is hard to find within the code level, because an bird's eye overview is always necessary or always helpful to find out these duplications or the tightly connected components in a system. So definitely what we say that at Ticket Mobile, we have already seen some kind of transition phases like onboarding new member or rotation in team members. So at that time, for the features, we didn't have any kind of UML, or we went for a rush. Definitely slowed actually the onboarding process a bit in this process when we didn't go with the UML thing. Okay, so here comes a good meme. So I think for at least for once in a lifetime, every developer has faced some kind of issue or some challenge that they are not being able to recognize their own code. Maybe it because of they are coming back to the code after 6 months, maybe a year, and maybe a month, and maybe decades also. So yes, definitely this has been happening, at least for me, quite a lot. Not once, not twice, but maybe hundreds. Okay. So yes, what is UML all about? UML is all about UML is a long-term reference, because for a long-term goal, UML can be your actually friend when your memory actually fades out. So yes, it definitely helps us to recall some kind of complex architecture which we need to go after months or even years. So definitely, as we were showcasing the login diagram, login was the first thing we built in our iOS app. But actually, we needed to work on that login feature even after 2 years. So it was not possible to bring all the logics or the system in once person head. And also at TicketCo, we already said that the person who built it were not only responsible to maintain it. So some kind of other team members also needed to onboard in that feature. If we had some kind of UML, it was helping us for the recalling stuff or to get some bird's eye overview for a new member who wants to jump into that feature. So yes, definitely it saves time digging through just understanding the structure of a system. So onboarding a new team members is definitely faster when you have UML diagram. You don't need to jump into the code in the very first day. Sometimes code can be messy, and also code can be more frightening too. So yes, if we have some kind of UML, it can be used as a long-term memo, a long-term friend. So yes, exactly, that is what I just mentioned, that UML becomes your old friend when memory fades. So does it mean that we need to update UML all the time? Uh, at least not for us, because it is some kind of idea validation stage. It gives you a high level idea when you need it. So when we needed it, we kept it. When we didn't need it, we just threw it away. So the thing is that it is a helping tool. Always remember that. At least we always remember that. So yes, as an example, you can see that there is some kind of event thing happening here. So this was a very complex actually system module event thing. This design has been made by Sadbhai. So we can see that in the our repo wiki section, we have saved diagrams what we thought that, yes, these diagrams can be used as a long-term reference frames, because when you need to add some kind of newer components or make any kind of modification, we can come back to the GitHub repository and find that diagrams. So any of us actually can be able to gain domain knowledge. So it is pretty much possible. So yes, this event feature actually does not exist in our app anymore, but still we kept it because when dropping it, we made sure that this feature is not impacting any other feature. So we first needed to have a bird's eye overview. Once we validated that, yes, the idea is true, we just implemented it. So yes, this is an example how we generate our ideas and validate and then go for the implementation part. There is no unmixed blessing in this world. Everything has its dark side. So yes, maybe UML has got some too. So definitely, sometimes UML diagrams can be an overhead, and especially for the teams that want pace and standard. Definitely, this should be the ultimate motto. But yes, sometimes it might be an overhead, and also following strict rules sometimes it makes the tool even more complex, maybe. So yes, but quick development team, yes, initially it looks like that it might slow down a bit, but if we see on the bigger picture, it might pay off, and it does pay off actually. We have seen, at least for us. So UML again is a standard, helpful, not a rule book, definitely. So this is the tools actually we have been using to update, to showcase our UML diagrams, which is pro.io and the Visual Studio. And also, I think every meeting room's whiteboard has been used, at least for Ticket Convert team. So yes, these are the tools which we have been using. I know that might people may be using some kind of other stuffs too. So yes, it is actually pretty much possible to move to another tool. As this is a theory-based discussion point, maybe I will not take much more time then, but a special thanks to that following people. Chashroy, who has been a part of the ticket converting for a long time. Thanks to Shojipai for actually giving some kind of feedbacks regarding this presentation, and my very own ticket mobile and checkout team, because they are the one who is actually responsible for the ultimate outcome. And last but not definitely GitHub Copilot. So yes, thanks everyone. Pardon me if I have made the presentation a bit more complex. So the idea was just to showcase that how we have been using these UMLs for our purposes. So anyone can reach out to us. We are Ticket.com mobile. So yes, definitely, if you need to learn more about our users case, then feel free to reach out to us. Thank you. Any kind of questions are welcome.
So I would like to just one interesting thing when we was actually doing the UML diagram or drawing the UML diagram in our old office. Many of the time, other team members actually come to us and periodically say that it looks good. You guys actually are all in a one group and doing the thing. So we are actually basically engineers, and we always love to solve problems. And when we do it as a group, it feels a lot connected and a lot good feelings is there. So if you are not doing it, you are missing a very good opportunity of team building or team bonding. So yeah, that's always very helpful for us. and definitely we would always go with UML diagram. Yeah, so I would like to have the QA. If you guys have any question, please let us know. And if not, then I'm gonna start asking question that for different things. So it will be a different QA session. So very first, is there any question from anyone? We can go with the Bangla also if we want. So there is a question from Shohan. Shohan. So are there any tools for creating UML diagram using code similar how yeah, there is. There is also like possible to use GitHub Copilot on GitHub to draw the UML diagram. But for us, we actually didn't do that part, especially Xcode do not have, Xcode is the IDE we use for iOS development, do not have an automation way to generate the UML diagram. For us, UML diagram was basically before starting a feature or before starting a code. And then it was there, we keep there just for reference. But we actually never did the coding part first and then to export the UML diagram. So yeah, probably is there, but maybe we are not the best person to give the question answer that is there anything, any tool like that. Thank you, Sean, for the question. Anyone else? Okay, so I think now actually I can actually start the question to the audience. So how do you actually share your ideas? Like there is when we're actually building a feature, it takes months to build. So how do you share your idea when you're actually building a small part of a feature? Obi, can you please move back to the slide where we have the search router you shared, I think the very initial stage. Yeah, this one. So can you make it full screen? Awesome, thank you. So as you can see, the rectangle box, it was a part of the feature, but the whole feature was far bigger more than that. And if you can actually move your mouse cursor to the presenter, which is at the very bottom of the screen. Yeah, the presenter, this part. So this is a whole new, this is a whole feature out there. We just make a connection to it. So we know that this feature will be used in this part of the feature. So how you guys actually share this type of complex connectivity on the features or the components of the app? Anyone, any volunteer to share? Like if you don't use UML, then how do you actually share this kind of like complex dependency to the team?
Start the
Okay.
counter.
Sorry, Abhi.
We can start the counter. 5 seconds.
Counter.
I can tell something about that. I think I can speak for the rest of us also because we are not so lucky to have the luxury to design this. It's really helpful to have the email diagram in long term, but most of our clients do not really allocate time for this kind of documentation, and they sometimes argue that if you have a well-documented Jira task, why do you need such an elaborate diagram? Especially, it's really helpful for the developers and how we onboard new team members. I'm really, really sold on the idea, but for our team, actually, we are always stretched on time and we have to roll out features fast. And in that case, we just sometimes write not so elaborate diagram, just a key simple features and then communicate things. And maybe on the code, we traverse things and say things and move on with the work.
Got it.
It's not a clean thing. I can say you that.
Yeah, got it. Thanks for the update. So yeah, that's actually true. Time is a very different difficult thing. So I don't have any like feedback other than that, but yeah, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so is there any other question or anything concern or anything you guys want to know or? Okay.
I want to know whose handwriting was that on the board. You couldn't call it readable, right?
The whiteboard part, can you please move back to that slide, okay? I have to admit that's a very bad handwriting, no doubt about it. And I can recall this is mine. So this is like the very first step of the like how we're gonna actually save the password and also the login screen, Face ID. So this was the very initial stage. Yep, that's how it goes. I think we can see 3 people is standing there when we were taking picture. So yeah.
Just kidding. It was an insightful session. Thank you.
Yep, sure. So yeah, thank you for being here. It was great to be on this presentation, and Obi actually did a very great job to bring those like scatters idea, and they're like very much abstract, and that he actually tried to formalize it in a very good presentation. So big thanks to Obi. For me, he did a great job. So thank you.
Shad, I have one question.
Sure, ভাই।
বাংলায় বলি।
অবশ্যই ভাই।
এই যে ইউএমএল যদি শেয়ার করো তাহলে তো ঝগড়াঝাটি হওয়ার চান্স নেই, রিলেশনশিপে ঝগড়াঝাটি না হলে তো এটা মজবুত হয় না, তো এটা আসলে কিভাবে?
ভাই এইটা তো আসলে খুব ডিফিকাল্ট, মানে লজিক্যাল ব্যাপারগুলো তো লজিক্যাল মানুষজনের মধ্যে যায়, লজিক্যাল রিলেশন গুলোর মধ্যে যায়, লজিক্যাল ব্যাপারগুলো তো ইমোশনাল ব্যাপারগুলোর মধ্যে যায় না, রিলেট করতে যায় না। সো ওইখানে যেটা বলবে ইয়েস ম্যাম, তাহলেই আলহামদুলিল্লাহ সুন্দর যায় সবকিছু। থ্যাংক ইউ ভাই কোয়েশ্চেনটার জন্য। Okay, Zawad bhai, I think we are kind of like done with the presentation. So